Welcome to another Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day for Monday, August the 17th. I'm Ian Cameron as we're ready to drop the puck on another NHL Stanley Cup playoff day. I do want to mention that yesterday we cashed with the Philadelphia Flyers in their 1-0 victory over the Montreal Canadiens. We talked about that being a big-time bounce-back spot for the Philadelphia Flyers after the 5-0 blowout loss, and they responded with a much better performance. Let's see if we can give you a winner, maybe even two winners on the ice tonight. Stay tuned for why I might be giving you two plays from the game we're going to talk about. And that game that we're going to talk about, it's the nightcap. It's the St. Louis Blues and the Vancouver Canucks. Back-to-back games for these two teams after a thrilling overtime game last night between the Blues and Canucks, won by St. Louis 3-2 to get them back into the series. Now trailing Vancouver 2-1 in this series, making for a pivotal Game 4 tonight between these two teams. Currently, St. Louis -120 favorites in Game 4, total 5.5 in this game. When you look at this series as a whole, Vancouver has, and their speed and their skill and the very good-looking blue-chip talent that they've got, young prospects that keep getting better and better, and they're getting more playoff games and more experience under their belt. They have given St. Louis just a world of problems in this series. And I know finally St. Louis got off the schneid, won last night in overtime 3-2, and Craig Berube changed goalies going into Game 3, and I think he had to because Jordan Binnington was just not playing very good at all. He was really struggling in net for the Blues. So credit to Craig Berube for recognizing that, realizing his team needed a spark, needed a change, something to shake them up. He went with Jake Allen last night for the start in Game 3, and he was rewarded. Jake Allen with a very good performance in net, much better than the way Binnington had played throughout the first two games of this series, and the Blues got the win. But boy, the Blues also barely averted many great chances that Vancouver had to possibly win that game, especially in overtime. And the number of giveaways and turnovers and just bad puck management, many examples of it that I'm seeing from the St. Louis Blues in this series, including last night, even though they got away with all of them and won the game. It's alarming. And this is now a pattern. And once you have in these best-of-7 playoff series, regardless of what sport it is, if something happens to a team in one game, that's one thing. But if the same team is falling into these same bad habits and bad patterns 2 games, 3 games in a row in a series, like we're seeing with St. Louis with the defensive breakdowns and the bad penalties and the gaffes with the puck, turning it over right in front of their own net. You know, they have done that a ton of times. You're seeing even good defensemen on this Blues team, including the captain, Alex Pietrangelo, just absolutely making these horrible decisions with the puck in front of their own goaltender. And that's happened in every game this series. Once you get this deep into a series, and you've seen now for 3 straight games, St. Louis's defense is coughing up the puck and making mistakes because of the relentless forechecking pressure and skill and, quite honestly, speed of the Vancouver Canucks that has been a very, very difficult thing for the St. Louis Blues to handle. It becomes a situation at that point where now that it's happened 3 games in a row, maybe it's just a bad matchup here for St. Louis. I'm thinking it is. And I'm not necessarily on this bandwagon that believes that last night is a series-changing win for the St. Louis Blues. They could have very easily lost that game as well. Jake Allen, to be honest with you, bailed them out a little bit. They deserved the win. They did, I think, carry the play in overtime. But in the 3 periods before that, there were still a lot of chances that the Vancouver Canucks had. And I'm not going to be necessarily sold on all of a sudden the St. Louis Blues turning that win last night into something where they can come back and get right back in this series and maybe even win it. I just think Vancouver's been that good. Jacob Markstrom's been solid. I'd expect him to be back in the net tonight, and he's had a lot of games under his belt, whereas Jake Allen, first game, he was great. Well, now you got to do it for a second game after sitting on the bench basically for this entire restart. That was his first start since at least since the playoffs began, And now all of a sudden you're going to have to come back and start again. Well, I think it's going to be a much taller order for Jake Allen tonight. I would expect Vancouver to step up their game a little bit. And even if they step up their game just a little bit from the way they played last night in Game 3, I think they've got a solid chance to retake control of this series and go up 3-1 tonight. I like Vancouver here. I think it's worth a bet. Vancouver plus 100. We're already starting to see some Canucks money trickle in because St. Louis was minus 130 in this game earlier today. I agree with that move. I think the Canucks can regain control of this series tonight. And I also have a play on the over in this game, 5.5. Sloppy play. I could see it tonight. Teams really fatigued. Played an overtime game last night. I could see some sloppy play in the defensive zone, which could lead to more goals. And again, after last night's game probably shouldn't have stayed under the total. There was, going into overtime, both teams had already had more than 30 shots each team. Like, there's been a lot of shots. There's been a lot of chances. This hasn't been a shutdown, lockdown defensive series on either side. I think it shows tonight, and the fatigue factor will play into this being more of a sloppy defensive game. So 2 plays I'm going to go with today, a rare 2-pack on the Pub Sports Radio NHL plays of the day for this Monday, August 17th. Vancouver Canucks plus 100 and St. Louis Vancouver over 5.5, which you can get right now at plus 105. Let's see if we can go for the 2-0 sweep with the Blues and Canucks Game 4 for our Pub Sports Radio NHL play of the day. I'm Ian Cameron. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out pubsportsradio.com every day for great sports betting content. I just saw their YouTube channel today, by the way. A good friend of mine and a ridiculously talented NBA bettor and handicapper, Ski Profit. He's got his, it looks like he's got an NBA pick show on Pub Sports Radio's YouTube channel. Make sure you watch that. The guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to the NBA. Just one of many examples of the great content you can find here on the Pub Sports Radio YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Ian Cameron, and I will be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday for another Pub Sports Radio NHL Play of the Day.